Hello and welcome to OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and Tech Wizard Abigail.
I'm not a ghost.
I'm not a ghost.
I'm not a
I'm really
ghost.
not a ghost.
I'm not a ghost. The way you
That was
introduced me
really loud.
sounded
I'm not a
I'm
ghost.
not a ghost. The way you
I don't know
introduced me
how I
sounded like I was like coming from the seventh realm of hell or something like that.
I don't know how I managed it, but I managed to really redline. I'm not a ghost, but it's not doing it again. I'm not redlining it while saying ghost.
It was a
I'm not a
ghost.
ghost. Oh,
It was
there
a
you go.
ghost.
Sorry for redlining that, everybody. I apologize. No, I was doing it as if you were trying to not be sick. May Abigail.
I know. I'm trying to control my breathing.
It's called The Exorcist.
No, I'm just trying to breathe. Yes, hello everybody. Yeah, I am not feeling fantastic. I think I've eaten something not great. So I'm just sitting here just trying to...
Did you eat one of the apple cores that you left on your desk?
No, they're still there. I'm not joking. Hold on. You keep talking.
Oh no, here we go. Oh,
You
okay.
keep talking.
So Abigail is moving the camera, which she's now turned off. So and she, oh right, it's gone black. And she's just wait. How long have they been there for?
A day.
Oh.
My goal for... I've been manic busy. You know I've been manic busy. And this is... it's my... Been manic busy, and I've just basically kind of been either at my computer or asleep. So I've just kind of been eating and shoving stuff there. Like apple cores. It's nothing
right,
bad.
You mean shoving them down in that pile that you've got as a makeshift bin area?
Yeah.
It's just that you then put your hand to your mouth. So it was like, I'm just shoving things in.
Yeah, also I'm
Apple
just shoving
cores,
things. I'm shoving things in my mouth as
lollipop
well.
sticks. I'm just eating anything I can get my hands
Oh,
on.
it's been so bad because like before, like I'm not joking. In the last few months, I've just been eating pretty much everything in sight. I was doing really, really well. Like I wasn't snacking. I was drinking water, loads of water, and now basically all I live on now is chocolate biscuits, and my blood is caffeine. That's how much coffee I've been drinking.
That's a bit ridiculous when it comes to like my blood is fire. I will spill it upon my enemies. My blood's
I'm not
caffeine.
joking. I'm not joking, right? I don't drink regular milk because it makes me feel sick. But I have like coconut milk in my coffee, and I buy like the cartons of it. In 1 week, I can go through 4 cartons of that milk. That's how much coffee I drink.
How many cans of coffee? How many cups of coffee can you get out of one carton?
I don't know. I think the most coffee I
might
drank
help.
in one day was like 7 cups.
So a bit of milk makes you feel sick, but 7 cups of coffee and you're fine.
Because I must be awake.
7 cups of coffee in a week, and you need to stay awake. Like, if you need to take any more coffee, you'll be upgrading to crystal meth. Disclaimer, I do not recommend crystal meth. You look like a crazy homeless person.
I have bought some like fruity. It's like a syrup that you put in hot water, and it's like a fruity tea, like a liquid fruit. I was going to say a liquid fruity tea.
As opposed to a solid or gaseous.
But I
fruity bean.
mean like, you know how you get fruity tea in tea bags form. This one's like a syrup that you pour into a mug, and it becomes a fruity tea. It's quite nice.
So like a tea-based diluting juice.
Yeah, basically. It's diluting juice that's tea.
Yeah, crystal meth has this weird habit of making your face look like you've just kissed a combine harvester.
Yeah. Anywho, shall we not talk about that anymore?
No, we shouldn't. Shouldn't? We shouldn't.
We shan't. We shan't.
We shouldn't.
We shall not. We shall not.
We shouldn't.
I thought the thing had frozen. I thought my
What have you been playing?
I have no. For reference, the image on my phone, like the video call, it looked like you had frozen because you were in such a one position for so long. I have just been playing GTA Online when I had the time. which has been like twice this week for about half an hour.
And what have you been doing?
We had played a mission. A couple of missions.
Actually, yeah, we did about 3.
I can't actually
Just
remember what they
general
were.
things. Oh, we had to drive somewhere really far away.
It's every mission.
Oh no, I remember. We went and we
There's a quarry, I remember that.
no, we did a mission where we stole some vans in a quarry, and then I think at one point we did a mission where we stole crystal meth. It keeps coming up. From a pier, and then we rowed across the Alamo Sea in a boat. And then you were tasked with
Did we?
building up speed to launch the boat into the air so that we could get as close to where we were going without having to run it.
I do not remember this.
Yeah, we had to fight them in a small little hamlet area with a few buildings, and then we stole a boat and we stole some crystal meth, and then we drove across the sea and we handed it to Trevor.
I remember the end of that mission, but I honestly cannot remember the beginning of it or the mission itself. I just remember the end.
Yeah.
As in handing it over to Trevor. That's all I can remember.
I don't know if that was this week. That might have been before. But anyway, it was good.
It was indeed.
Because the mission that we did to the quarry was double RP.
Yes, so I'm
So
now
you're
level
now-
38.
Yep.
Getting there slowly. I
You're
might buy a different house.
Why?
Variety.
You can only have one house at a time.
But I might sell that one and buy another one.
But you have the best house. Also, just as a disclaimer, the insides are the same.
It's boring. I want to customize it.
You can't.
Apparently you can, but I just don't know how.
Oh no, you can customize it when you buy it. I think you can choose what you're in the insides.
Now
of the house
you
look
tell
like.
me. I had
Yeah,
to do
you
that when
had
I
that
bought
choice.
it.
No, it tells you to do it. It tells you to pick one. So you did pick one.
I don't like it.
What's wrong with it?
It's boring.
It's only a color scheme that you can pick.
I sat and I watched the TV and the game. I watched the TV shows. They are something else.
Yes, they are. They're pretty good. They really build a world in Grand Theft Auto. You can really just sit.
It's
But
nice.
I'm really confused as to the customization limitations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's what I have been playing while driving myself crazy, going through mounds and mounds and mounds of paper.
For your report, not just.
No, I just
You're
as a
ducking
hobby,
your
as a
way through
hobby, I
paper.
just like to print off random articles and just lie on them.
Yeah, sort of like.
And just
like
absorb the knowledge through my skin.
like a journal-based or article-based Scrooge McDuck.
No, it's like every cartoon ever where like they can't remember what the subject is, so they like eat the paper or like they eat. I watched it in a cartoon.
I was thinking more like you were treating it like money, so you would dive into the money pit, or you would
No.
making it rain journal entries. Is that all you've been playing?
That is everything I've been playing because I have no life and have not been able to do anything else.
Yes.
Tomorrow I might play some games, but my main goal tomorrow is to clean my room
Before you have an apple tree.
before I lose my ever-loving mind. Because I've got all my art stuff at home to do art. I've literally got a path of roughly it's less than a foot wide to be able to walk around my room. Because there's so much stuff. There's like paint not everywhere, but there's paint places. There's books everywhere, so it's a tip.
I played some GTA with you. I've done a wee bit of Halo 5 just to prepare because I think some people might be playing Halo 5 at some point. I've also been leveling up my guy in Gears 5. Just standard station keeping stuff because I've had a lot of work to do as well.
Nice.
That's it. Nothing
Well,
fancy.
aren't
We've
we? Are we
just.
boring people?
Sorry, are we boring or are we boring others?
Both.
Yeah, boring, as in like mining.
No, boring as in I am putting myself to sleep with this conversation.
We'd be better off just putting up like the first 15 minutes of nothing, just
Yeah.
pure silence.
Just
Maybe
pure,
the
pure
occasional
silence.
something gets dropped, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then we go into the stories we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, I did play some Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Played a story mission. I can't even remember which of the two characters I was. Who cares? Next. Like I can't even remember that. I'm just not clicking with Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
I'm not clicking with you.
You're fired.
You cannot fire me.
Really? I'll buy you out. How much are the shares worth? Oh yeah, nothing. Deal. Yeah, so yeah. It's just not working for me. It's not clicking. The story's just not good enough for me. So it's just not quite. Oh, I know what it was. I was Jacob, and I was involved in a something to do with a bank. Oh, that was an all right mission. That was okay, but nah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that good. Oh, that was good. Just for full disclosure, what happened there was Abigail. I turned away to think about something, and Abigail put on. What
My
did you
reading,
say?
my reading
Your
glasses.
reading glasses, which look like sunglasses.
They're blue tinted. That's why.
Yep. And then when I turned back, she's just stoically faced, looking straight at the camera.
Yeah, I know. People think that they're sunglasses. That used to annoy me a lot. I'd be like walking around and I'd have my reading glasses on. I forget that they look like sunglasses to people. People go, "Oh, you still got your sunglasses on," or they'd like laugh, "Oh, you still got your sunglasses on," and I'd be like, "Reading glasses. I need these to read."
Hmm. Maybe
Yeah,
if
for
the
so
lens was orange.
for full disclosure, I've got dyslexia and also I've got something called, I think it's called Mears-Ireland syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as scoptic sensitivity, which means I can't really read off white paper. I can at certain points, but it depends on like the tint of the paper and things like that.
Probably
How
the
bright
font
it is.
and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because that would dictate where the patches of white in the letters are.
I still think I need actual reading glasses, like prescription glasses, because I find that things that are quite far away
How
are
far away?
Maybe about four or five cars lengths away. But like to the point where it's like losing definition a little bit.
Right.
But it's
Because
only
I thought that when I couldn't read the license plates of cars that were like 100 meters away. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going blind because I'm struggling to make out that R. No.
no,
So it
but
could be that it's just age.
yeah, well, no, because I found it more. It was happening at certain times of the day, like early in the
Oh, I know,
morning,
nighttime when you were asleep.
like like late in the evening or early in the morning, because of the
You're
light.
totally unimpressed with that.
No, because you sound like
Absolutely.
the optician.
Oh.
I went to go see an optician about it. I was like, oh yeah, when I go for a run in the mornings, I look ahead and it looks a bit blurry. It looks blurry, like it's so much so it's causing me
Right.
some concern.
Right.
And now I want to say this. I said this when I go for a run in the morning, roughly around 8 a.m. between 7:30 and 8 a.m. So that's when I was going. It looks blurry. This was his response. Well, you know, sometimes when you first wake up in the morning, you rub your eyes. It looks blurry. I honestly had to stop and look at this guy. I was like, no, when I go for a run. And he repeated the same thing to me. I was like, right, you're not listening to me. I'm just going to leave.
Did you?
No, because I'm a pathetic. Because I'm shy.
No, I think it would have been worse if you just walked out, because he'll do a number of scientific tests on your eyes.
He did do tests on my eyes, but I was trying to explain as to what was going on.
It might be a medical thing then, rather than an eyeball thing.
I know, but it was. That's not what the important part of that conversation was.
He wasn't helping.
That he wasn't listening.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Sorry, I just had a yawning man in my throat. So he wasn't listening.
No.
Right. Stories. Because I'm not listening anymore.
You're doing it in a funny way.
That's a good point. Do you have the stories?
No, I sent them to you. I don't remember what the stories were.
Aye, all right, calm down.
I sent one to you a few days ago.
There's a dog in Belgium crying because of that. Send them to you. Send them to you.
I'm sad now.
I think I'm causing resonance in the mic. So you're refusing to read the stories, are you? Even though you've got your sunglasses there and you're ready to go. Fine, I will do it. This story is about America. I'm telling it because I think it's funny and stupid.
Is this the GTA story? Well, they're both GTA stories.
Representative, I think rep stands for in this. In America, representative. Basically, an American wants to ban GTA 5.
What's new?
Okay. His argument is that he wants to file an amendment, not to the Second Amendment, but to a different law. Wants to ban the sale of games featuring psychological harm and carjackings to minors and to adults, because these types of games promote criminal activities which hurt the community.
No, it doesn't.
The bill prohibits the sale of games that promote activities that cause suffering in the community. So essentially, they have a large carjacking problem, and he wants to stop it by banning GTA 5.
I think you've got as much chance of solving that problem banning GTA 5 as you do with banning music.
For what benefit?
Like start with hard. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't relate.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
This
that's what I'm, yeah.
This is one of the things that every year, almost every single year, if something bad happens that involves cars or guns, GTA is brought into the equation. Without it just is.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because if you look into anything, depending on what your narrative is,
yes,
you can find enough evidence for it and against it. You can find enough evidence for it. That's just a thing. If you want to prove a theory,
definitely in the hands of intellectually inferior people, because they happen to have a habit of refusing to look at something as a question they need to find the answer to, and they look at something as a question they need to prove their answer to.
Yeah.
And that's basically like he has an agenda here, and he's trying to, like, how are we going to stop this? I have no idea. I'll just blame GTA 5.
And also, if you look at just how many people actually play GTA 5, if you look at people who play GTA altogether, If
Why
you,
have I not broke? Why have we not stolen a car?
I that you've stolen my thunder. But what I was gonna say is, if you look at how many people play GTA 5 or any of the GTA games, and if you say that everybody that plays those games is going to be involved in some sort of criminal activity, there would be far more criminal activity going on, and just about everybody who play, there would be as many people carjacking as there would be playing that game, and that's not true.
To ban something, you'd have to actually, to use logic to ban something, you have to demonstrate
Yes, what's the
a
word?
link.
What's the word I'm trying to think of? Something proof. Irrecoverable proof. So
Unequivocal?
no.
No, that's not it.
Irrecoverable.
No, irrefutable.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I actually sometimes find it difficult to think of the words you're thinking of because you say irrequivocable, and I'm saying that's like 8 words you've combined.
So
Oh
you need
my
to get
God.
better. You need to get better at this, because if I'm talking to my sister and I say it wrong way, I'm like, she's like, oh, I know what you're trying to say.
No, but I know like a billion words. So when you turn around and say it consists of some fun, I'm
What was the word again?
irrefutable.
Irrefutable proof. And there isn't any irrefutable proof.
For example, the word vored, right, is the happenstance or sensation of being eaten.
Did you say eaten?
Yeah. Vacillating is basically speaking and moving from position to position without actually having one.
Not eating Vaseline.
No. So it's like saying, oh, but you could do this, or you could do this, but you could do this, but then that would happen, but then that would happen, but this could be done, but you could do that. That's vacillating. You're not actually coming down with an answer. You're just talking around the issue. Funnily enough, that's exactly what this guy's doing. And he brings it full circle, like the master of the chair that he is.
It's an easy excuse though. Like, it's an easy fix.
Yeah.
It's not a fix, because it's not what's causing it, but it's a quick fix, as it were.
Aye.
Because you need to look at why are people carjacking? It's not a game.
Well, that's the point. People don't do it for fun, really.
They do it
And
out
if
of
they do-
necessity for a lot of people.
Exactly. And if they do it for fun, then giving them a way of doing it without harming anyone strikes me as a solution, not a problem.
Yeah.
The bigger problem is the fact that they find it funny to do.
Yeah.
If they're not doing it out of necessity, they're doing it out of joy. So you then have a bigger problem because GTA 5 is not instilling that level of psychological change to a human being, that they're perfectly obeying the law, and then they play GTA 5 and snap.
Yeah, because it's I play GTA Online, and when I say that to people, if anybody knows what GTA is, because a lot of people either know it or have a good idea of what it's about from reading about it.
Yeah.
They're shocked. They're shocked that I play that. But they wouldn't necessarily associate somebody like me with playing a violent game but it is a violent game. In certain respects, it is a violent game.
You should see Gears.
You want me to at some point.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it, but you will be like, oh my God.
Is it as bad as was it the Mortal Kombat games? Because I've seen gameplay footage of that.
It's less showpiecey.
Right.
You understand when you see it. Right, on you go. Say what you were saying.
And they're shocked by that because I don't necessarily come off as a stereotypical GTA fan, or what people would assume is a GTA fan.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't assume that just because you play GTA, you're a certain type of person, or you're going to have certain intent. It's going to make you do certain things.
The assumption here is that... Sorry, hold on. My arm's going to sleep. The assumption here is that violent video games can somehow turn people who are not violent. But if we rule out the idea that a violent video game can turn Mother Teresa into a maniac, it must be some sort of like borderline thing. But if that's the case, a television program, a TV a movie, a news report, somebody making a joke about carjacking, any of that could cause it to happen. And
Yeah.
also, you've played Gears, GTA. It's actually a bit annoying to have to steal someone's car because half the time they drive off and you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
actually a bit tedious to steal a car sometimes.
I don't do it unless I absolutely have to, like, unless my car's been
Exactly.
totaled.
Because it's absolutely annoying.
Yeah.
It's really, it's just, yeah.
I just don't get the hate for. I honestly
It's
just don't get the
because of
hate
the
for
fact
it.
that everybody hates it without knowing what it is. It's ignorance. They're
Yeah.
playing on people's ignorance. I think also the fact is there is this idea games are dangerous because you're doing something. And there's a lot of this idea that if you say something or you do something, you're promoting that thing. But I think that they're not taking in, like, what about satire? What about
It's
if
total
you're,
satire. I mean, you play it, you understand that it's satire.
it's exactly the,
Like this.
what's the name? What's the name, right,
Okay.
of the stock market in GTA 5, the
Oh,
shares trading
I
platform,
can't remember. I don't know.
the Bossack, BWSAQ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, come on. Are you serious? Aye, they've put carjacking in because I try to make terrorists in the background.
I mean, it's a strange one because
And why is it always GTA and not something like Saints Row, which is considered to be the same sort of.
GTA is a bigger name. GTA is a bigger
That's
name, and
why.
it's more popularized. People know about it more. It's had more controversy than just about any other game.
Do you know what I'm always reminded of?
What?
Just before I go and steal a couple of cars, is when stuff like this comes up, it's a game called Bully that was made by Rockstar.
Yeah, I know Bully.
And it was set in a school and it was called
Yeah.
Bully. So the Americans tried to have it banned and none of them had played it yet.
Yeah.
So Rockstar, I think it might have even gone to like a Senate hearing. They gave the people who were doing the hearing, I think they gave them a copy of the game.
Yeah.
And then they either played it or they brought in a professional gamer to play it because they would have been like 80 and not able to learn how to play a video game. And they saw it and they realized that it's not about bullying, it's about fighting back against bullies.
Yeah.
At one point, there is a character in it dressed up as an SS officer, but it's Halloween, right?
Yeah.
And he's gone as he's one of the kids, and he's gone to the Halloween. I think it's Halloween. He's gone dressed up as an SS officer. You're not supposed to like that character.
No.
That's not your character. You can either dress up as a ghost that looks a little bit like the KKK, or this makeshift TT officer. Heils the Fjärer. Like, that's not what it was. It was a case of maybe I should keep my eye on that character because he's a bit of a maniac.
Yeah.
They played into a bit of that sort of. They played into the stereotypes in
I've
an
never.
effort to show you how silly bullying
I've
is.
only ever seen a little bit of the gameplay. I've never actually played it or sat down and watched the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have been watching somebody play recently. Little Nightmares 2.
Mm.
The other problem is I can't remember what happened in Little Nightmares 1.
I never played the first one. But anyway, to the story, I just think this is really stupid.
Yeah.
And they should be embarrassed and ashamed of themselves.
It's not going to
I'm
work.
absolutely fine.
They're not going to get it done.
I have no problem whatsoever with you using evidence to ban certain things.
Yeah.
For example, the fact they want to ban GTA but not loot boxes, when loot boxes have been shown to have a damaging effect on children and adults,
Yeah.
turning them into addicts. But they'll focus their effort on GTA 5 because of its name.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So yeah, that's for me. That's everything. If you want to pull this sort of stuff, do it on loot boxes. Don't bother with GTA 5.
Leave GTA alone. It's fun.
Shall we now move on to the last story?
We shall. What was it about?
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Ah.
One of the most convoluted development names I've ever seen in my life. It has a colon and a dash.
Terrible.
It's been pulled from its developer. and the pre-orders have been stopped by the publisher or the
Why?
owner or whatever it is. So
Why?
Paradox are the ones running it, and they gave it to Hardsuit Labs
Mm-hmm.
to develop, and it was supposed to be developed originally for 2020, but I think they canned that idea because of well, we know why. But they've said in a statement its next release date was 2021, and they've said in a statement that in order to meet our goals for it, in order to meet our goals for it, we've
In
come to the
order to meet
conclusion
our
that a
goals for
change.
it.
Pardon?
I just said in order to meet our goals for it in a weird voice for some reason. I don't really know why. I apologize.
Okay. In order to meet our goals for it, we've come to the conclusion that a change is needed, and as a result, more development time is required because they have pulled it from Hardsuit Labs and they have tried to find a new developer for it. It has signed a new developer, but there will be a bit of a wait now, so we expect 2022, 2023 maybe.
Huh.
It has had a bit of issues during development. It's delayed twice already, I think.
That's never a good sign.
In June 20, well, not around. No, it's not a good sign for its development, but it's not necessarily a bad thing for its release. Because they've delayed Halo Infinite, but it will get released. They delayed Cyberpunk and then released it too early, but it will get fixed. So eventually you'll have the game you wanted. It's just whether or not you die of old age before it comes out.
I think Cyberpunk have pushed back their update.
Yes, they will have, but they're according to James, he got it almost immediately, and he's actually going to play it soon. Because he's heard from his friends who've played it that it's got some bugs in it, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that I think that's basically the point. It depends how much of a snob you're going to be, and it also depends whether or not the bugs you get are funny. If it's immersion breaking, that's annoying. If it's game breaking, that's disastrous. But if it's just like somebody's head on back to front, and as they walk down the street, that's just funny. Like that's the kind of thing you occasionally want to see just to make you laugh.
Yeah.
But it depends. But sorry, in June 2020, Paradox confirmed that the designer Chris Avalone's content was being removed after allegations of sexual assault. I'm not entirely sure why you would remove all of his content. I don't get that. So, if a teacher's, I mean, what happens if a doctor's found guilty of sexual assault? Do we unperform all of the surgeries?
It's not the same thing.
No, but how? It's like, what do we do? Do we get rid? If you're, and I don't understand. I don't get it. If you're, for one, allegations of sexual assault, it's not been proven. Two, you're removing all the content. Why? That person was hired to do a job, and the job has been done. Why are you deleting everything?
Maybe they don't want his name associated with the project anymore.
Well, it will be. It will always be associated with it. But there's nothing you can do about that. Why would you want to destroy? I mean, if I get found guilty of tax evasion, if I've written a book, is it going to be burned?
Maybe stop printed.
Yeah, but why? The simple fact of the matter is, what would you do if it turned out that Da Vinci was a massive racist? Right? Undesign the helicopter. Like, I don't get that.
Well,
if the whole point of a justice system is rehabilitation, you can't destroy everything good that somebody's made and expect them to have a life at the end of it. The only thing, you are literally just your crime. You're reduced to your crime.
I think
that's what you're doing.
I think in some cases that should be a thing.
Then kill them. There's no point in them being alive anymore. So you're just keeping them alive to torture them because they're not allowed to move past their mistake.
Don't want to get into a debate about the...
I just don't understand. I totally am fine. Allegations of sexual assault, if it's involving the workplace, he needs to be removed from that area and it needs to be investigated. Absolutely fine. But why are you deleting everything he's ever done? I mean, what happens if it comes back and it was totally made up? That's the court of public opinion, like executing him before the actual trial started. And I'm not happy with it. I think society is going down. There was an episode of, do you remember that Star Trek parody that Seth MacFarlane made
Or was it
called
like
The Orville?
Overall? I've never watched it.
There's an episode in it where society doesn't have trials anymore. What they do is they try you in the court of public opinion. Everybody votes on whether or not somebody's
Oh
guilty or
no,
not.
that's not right. That's not
Yeah.
right. You should always have a trial.
And so basically what happens is like the BBC News becomes the courtroom because you go on that to answer questions about what you did and you said or whatever. And you can be found guilty of a crime which is just being offensive. And everybody can agree, yeah, that was offensive, done.
That's a scary thought, though, of
That's
that
what this is the
happening.
beginning of. That man has been found guilty of nothing. Nothing. And they're deleting everything he's done as work. If that's the case, why don't they sue him for the money back? He's not done any of the work anymore.
I don't know.
It's just, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Continuing, a shake-up of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2's development team was then hinted at in August because a delay was announced to ensure the best possible experience. This is Eurogamer, by the way, I'm reading from. Referenced organizational changes. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, hold on. There's a picture here. I might put this picture up because it's... Bloop, boop, boop. There you go. Right, I'll save that. Delete, delete, delete. Yeah, sorry, there's a picture attached here which might be useful, so I might put that up and people can have a read of it. Some people were fired. Lead narrative designer and creative directors were fired. Mitsoda and Clooney. Was it Brian Mitsoda and Kai Clooney? I think that's how you say that name. But they said that they were shocked by that. Brian Mitsuda did. And the senior narrative designer had left by 2020 as well. So it looks as if it's struggled and people have just left the developer, but because it's not the developer themselves making it, the developer has been fired and replaced.
Right.
Just in case you didn't know this, for you personally and anybody else listening, this is the sequel to a game made and released in 2004 called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and
I've never heard of it.
huge, yeah, it's got like a cult following.
Ah.
Yeah. I own it, but I haven't played it. I got it during a sale like a few months ago, 6 months ago or something. So we'll
Was that like in installments? I remember. No, I don't think it was. It was like
no,
okay.
no, that wasn't episodic. No.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this is the right decision because it looks, if you're looking at it, the developer has had a bit of a collapse. So yeah, that could be the right decision because Paradox themselves don't seem to be the one actually making it.
No.
Paradox, just to put into context, they made some of the games that I really want to play. Stellaris, and I was playing BattleTech, like strategy games. Now this is an action adventure RPG, but they're a bit more famous for their strategy games. I think they also made they did also make Crusader Kings and Hoi, Hearts of Iron.
I've literally never heard of any of these games, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Hearts of Iron is a World War II simulator.
What is it with guys in World War II? Why are you guys all obsessed?
In all honesty, sorry, I'm just typing up Hearts of Iron so I can see who made it. Yeah, developer Paradox Studios. Because we cannot work out how Hitler didn't win.
I wish I never asked that question.
Pardon?
I did. What?
You asked why we're fascinated with World War II, and I am fascinated by the fact that Hitler didn't win.
Okay.
The Nazi war machine is the most advanced well organized, efficient, well equipped, motivated, trained war machine that the world has ever seen. The Americans just now, if you had a Nazi war now, would be absolutely tanked by the Nazis.
That's a scary thought.
Because compared to, there's no single nation on earth militarily that could stand up to the Nazis in any way. Whereas if America went to war with China, it would actually have a bit of trouble because China has the world's largest available standing army. It has hackers for cyber warfare. It might not have the same physical equipment as the Americans, but it has ways in which it could give the Americans trouble, especially in the South China Sea. But there was nothing that could stand up to the Nazis. Their war machine was incredible. And that I'm not saying that out of adoration for them. I'm saying it out of factual evaluation, a critical evaluation of the Nazi war machine for its time. There was nothing that could stand up against it singularly. It brushed everything out of its way, with the exception of a few mistakes. They should not have invaded Russia. They should not have allowed the Japanese to get the Americans into the war. The Japanese attacked America, and the first thing America did was send half of its military to France, to the United Kingdom, to invade France. I mean, I know it took them a couple of years, but they then fought the Japanese in the Pacific with the other half. Like, if the Germans had prevented that, focused their U-boats on sinking supply lines into the United Kingdom, choking off Britain's defence of Africa, marched partially into Russia and held its line, not going all the way up to Stalingrad and then getting cut off. Basically, Hitler made some really bad decisions, and what he needed to do was play with the Russians more.
I'm going to take your word for it because I know virtually nothing about World War II.
Tactically, strategically, Hitler against the Russians, he was playing rugby. He should have been playing football.
Well, he lost and we're all better for it, which is good.
You asked me why we're fascinated. I believe that's why some of us are. At least I am. I know why I am.
I find it fascinating the fact that it just happened. Like the world went to war twice with each other, basically. I find that concept fascinating.
Well, only they did it twice in a century, and both those wars were done with by the time they were halfway through.
Yeah, I find it that's why I find it. I think it's just because I live in. Well, actually, living today, you would find it probably more believable than. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think so. I know what you mean, but remember during the 90s, you had the Irish troubles where they were,
I don't actually remember that because I was born in 92.
Yeah, I was born in not that long before that. My point is that I was aware of them because I had Irish family.
I wasn't.
So I mean, like I was 7. I remember seeing the troops in Northern Ireland.
I don't. I've got no memory of any of that. The 90s happened. I wasn't aware of them. No. That just bypassed me totally.
Anyway, yeah, back to what you're saying. I think that's why guys find it fascinating. But yeah, I wanted to try that game because apparently basically the thing is, if anybody goes Germany and you play a multiplayer game, basically everybody else has to gang up on Germany, including America, in order to not have Germany just eradicate everyone. It's not even remotely difficult.
Cool.
It's just a question of whether or not you make the same bad decisions that Hitler did, militarily speaking. It's kind of a wee bit worrying because I know we all pat ourselves in the back, but like the Nazis beat themselves. We didn't really beat them. All we did,
Well, we
or at
didn't
least
do anything.
our strategy, the rest of the world is what I'm saying. The strategy was to basically just hold them off until they made a mess of it.
Yeah. I suppose you can look at
The-
it that way.
In 1944, there was a plan in place. I think it was 44 to have Hitler assassinated.
I think there was loads of plans like that, let's face
No, no,
it.
no, but this was like a really, really credible, good one. And Winston Churchill just apparently just put his foot down and said, no, do not assassinate Hitler for any reason. Because he was running the German war effort so badly by that point, they viewed him as an asset.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to go and look that up.
Remember, he's the same guy. Hitler is the same guy who was winning the Battle of Britain because he was focusing his bombing runs on the military targets. And when a bomb got dropped on Berlin, he then started the Blitz in retaliation. And that's why the Battle of Britain, it was possible for Britain to win the Battle of Britain because they stopped bombing the military targets. If he had focused on the military targets, they would have absolutely eradicated the Royal Air Force.
Wow.
It's just another stupid decision that he made. Anyway, I'm not trying to downplay the sacrifice or the effort that was required or the success itself of winning that war, but a large part of it was hold them off till they trip up over their own shoelaces.
Do I regret making that comment?
Well, do you?
A little bit.
So what do you think about Vampire the Bloodlines Masquerade 2?
Never
Just
played
for
it.
that was a joke, by the way. It's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Of course, you've not played it. It's being developed.
I mean, I've not played the original.
What do you think of the story that we were discussing? Do you want to see this game made? Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, it should be made. People have worked very hard on it. It should be made.
But the people who worked very hard on it will get a lot less of the plaudits for having worked on it because they all got fired right now.
I forgot what the story was.
They changed the developer from Hard Suit Labs to a new one that I don't seem to have the name of here.
It'd be good to see if the game has actually been made because I think it's been passed about quite a bit. So, be interesting to see.
It's had some issues developmentally, that's for sure. But I'm not worried by this. I know it's a big thing for a developer to have to do, but frankly, CD Projekt Red didn't listen to their developers and they didn't put it back another couple of years, and it's not worked for them.
No.
It's been all right, but they could have done much better than they have.
Yeah.
It's not a disaster, I don't feel, because everybody still wants the game and they still want to play it, and it's still loads of people's favorite game and all the rest of it. But it's just that it could have been smoother.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, that got put back a year or so. Everybody was, oh my god, what's the point in getting an Xbox? Xbox have still sold enough copies of consoles. It's all fine. Nobody cares. Everybody's still looking forward to Halo. When you ignore the developer, that's when you have a problem. When you don't put in a delay, that's when you have a problem. But delays actually, for me, say that they've got standards.
And it's worth a while in a lot of cases. It's worth a while, like the wait, sorry.
Yeah, because if they delay it, that means they've got standards.
Yeah.
Whereas Anthem
was just a total disaster.
Was it delayed once, twice, something like that? Needed delayed 56 times? Apparently, EA are making decisions right now about whether or not to just abandon it completely, because they've rehashed the whole thing and nobody cares.
It's flogging a dead horse. That's what it is. That's what it feels like.
I think they might have to Final Fantasy 14 it to save Anthem. That's all I can think of. Which means Final Fantasy 14 came out people really didn't like it.
Yeah.
They had a steady core base, but it wasn't really the massive hit they needed, and it was an online game. So what they did was, like 3 years in, they pulled. They'd been doing this work in the background, I think. They pulled Final Fantasy 14, right? And then re-released Final Fantasy 14, completely brand new, remade.
Yeah.
Not even the same story. The original 14's release is considered like a prequel set, say starting 10 years before the next. So the start of the original Final Fantasy 14 is 10 years before the start of the new one, and then the end of that first version of the game was 5 years before the start of the new one. So it's like a sort of prequel. Sorry.
Right, I think I got it.
Yeah.
Was Final Fantasy 12 not like regarded as like the last good one, the original run of them or something?
No, Final Fantasy 15 is pretty good, from what I've heard.
I mean,
Didn't
from the
sell as well
original.
as they wanted it to, but I'm not sure what you call the original run then.
Well, I don't know either.
You're probably thinking of 7, if I'm being honest.
Right.
That's considered probably that's Final Fantasy to most Westerners. 7. Anyway, that's all the stories that we've got today.
Yes, that is all we have to discuss today.
Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of talking. You've done a lot of forgetting.
Asking questions I wish I had never asked.
Oi, hoi, 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 hoi 4. Do you get the joke?
No.
You asked me that question while talking about hoi 4. So instead of saying oi, oi, don't be rude, I said hoi.
If you have liked what you've heard today, you can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. You can share this with your friends and enemies. You can leave a comment down below. You can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast. Thank you so much for being with us today. Tommy's very disapproving of my outro while he slinks back his long hair.
His long, greasy locks. My name is Severus.
I had to wash my hair today because it was like getting greasy and it was like, ugh.
Lily, is that you? Lily.
Tommy, that's not funny.
Hello.
That's not funny.
It's me, Severus.
Stop it. Please stop it. You might not be a Harry Potter fan, but I am, and I take great offense at that.
Oh, well, it should be banned then. If I've offended someone, then we should ban it, shouldn't we? So I need to...
No, we should ban you.
Exactly, I need to be banned. So
Yep.
I'm no longer allowed to... I'm no longer allowed to.
Exist.
I'm just no longer allowed to.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I shall say farewell. I've unbanned you now. You may say goodbye.
Did you ask everybody else in the court?
I am the only one in this court. It's a court of one.
It's the court of public opinion.
I'm the only public here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.